Hi class, my name is Victor Gallegos, and in today's video I will be discussing therapies, which is for chapter 15. The first part talks about psychotherapy and biomedical therapy. The second part I decided to do is Carl Rogers and his 4 basic elements. And last but not least, I decided to include classical conditioning and operant conditioning as part of this video. I also incorporated some TV show clips in this video that will show you how therapy works not only in the real life, but also in, obviously, TV shows. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you guys can get some information out of it. Thank you. Okay, so I first will be talking about psychotherapy. It is often referred to as talk therapy because it involves talking to another person, usually a therapist, about one's problems. It is the first of 2 major therapies that I will be covering today, the other being biomedical therapy. So, psychotherapy is not just in person-to-person situations. You can also have group therapy, marriage therapy, as well as family therapy. One of the psychotherapies is called psychodynamic therapy. It is called a depth psychology. The main thing about psychodynamic therapy is that it goes into a person's emotions, early life experiences, and thoughts. Usually, the therapist tries to correlate past events with current ones. The second type of therapy is called interpersonal therapy. It is usually done to treat mental issues such as depression, anxiety, and so forth. As the name states, the major focus of this therapy is to have person-to-person communications because it is said mental health and the ability to speak with others are linked. Last but not least is dialectical behavior therapy. It is a cognitive behavioral psychotherapy. There are many different ways that this therapy works. For example, it helps people identify their strengths. It also restructures negative thoughts into positive ones. It is more teacher-based therapy, with therapists supplying patients homework and assignments to do. This therapy is popular with people who suffer from borderline personality disorder. So I will now show you guys a video that shows psychotherapy at work. It is from The Sopranos, and if you guys have seen The Sopranos, you know that Tony always goes to his psychologist to discuss his problems.
I came here today to tell you, in all seriousness, that I'm done. I did what you said. I gave it a lot of thought, and I decided that once and for all, it's over. The truth is, this therapy is a jerk-off. You know it, and I know it.
I actually don't know it, but please continue.
Anyway, I was coming here to quit. Had it all planned out. But guess what? My son is talking suicide. So now I'm trapped here forever.
My God, what did he say?
His girlfriend, fiancée, whatever, she broke up with him. He's beyond devastated.
Would you like me to recommend someone for him to talk to?
Carmelo's getting a referral from his own pediatrician. So I suppose now comes the inherent fucking grilling about how I feel about all this.
Isn't that why you're here? Have you talked to him?
Till I'm blue in the face. We both have. And now we're afraid to talk to him because of what he might do. Obviously, I'm prone to depression. A certain bleak attitude about the world. But I know I can handle it. Your kids, though.
Oh, this is difficult. But I'm very glad we're having this discussion.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the next idea, which is Carl Rogers' 4 basic elements. They are reflection, unconditional positive regard, authenticity, and empathy. So what therapists try to do when they mention reflection is they try to mirror a person's words and ideas. For example, if you say, "I am sad today," the therapist will rephrase it in a way that tells you that you are sad. In unconditional positive regard, a therapist is accepting of the patient without judgment, which I think all therapists should do anyway. But in this way, therapists do not judge you. They treat you like they want to accept you. They're not gonna just say, oh, it's your fault, it's your fault. With empathy, it's understanding the feelings and emotions of the patient. That one is all about emotions. That means that the therapist actually understands what you're going through. Authenticity is they are honest with you. So if they see something that is not to their liking, they will tell you so. They don't just sugarcoat everything. So now I will show you a video by Carl Rogers that talks about empathy.
Very early in my work as a therapist, I discovered that simply listening to my client very attentively was an important way of being helpful. So when I was in doubt as to what I should do in some active way, I simply listened. And it seemed surprising to me that such a passive kind of interaction could be so useful. And a little later, a social worker whom I hired who had had a background of Ronkian training was really most helpful to me. She helped me to learn that the most effective response, the most effective listening was where you listened for the feelings and emotions that were behind the words, that were just a little bit concealed, and where you could discern a pattern of feeling behind what was being said. And I think she's the one who first suggested that the best response was to reflect these feelings to the client. And reflect is a word that later made me cringe, but at the time it really was very helpful to me in my work as a therapist, and I was very grateful to her.
So last but not least, I will briefly talk about classical conditioning and operant conditioning therapies. Let's start off with classical conditioning. It is therapies that I will talk about are systematic desensitization. That one is usually used to treat phobias. As the book states, therapists usually have patients write down lists of least feared things to most feared things, and they have them think of these things from least to most in hopes that once they reach the most feared thing that it's not as feared as it was before. The second classical conditioning therapy I will talk about is aversion. It basically reduces undesirable behaviors. A classic example of this is a person that is addicted to cigarettes is forced to smoke about, let's say, a pack of cigarettes within about 30 minutes, and they get sick. The outcome of this aversion would be for them to get sick enough that they won't have to do it again, or they won't want to do it again. The last one is called flooding. This is like systematic desensitization, in which it deals with phobias, but it's quite opposite. You start off with the most feared phobia and you work your way down. For example, if you were afraid of heights, the first step in aversion would not be to climb a small height first, rather it would be to start off at the highest peak. Operant conditioning is therapy used to change behavior. I will talk about modeling, reinforcement, and extinction. So modeling is learning through observation. For example, if you see somebody doing something and then you do it, that's modeling. Extinction is, to me, one of the hardest ones to explain, but it involves not acknowledging behavior, so you hope it goes away. For example, if you're in a classroom and someone keeps yelling, trying to get attention, using extinction would mean you don't listen, you don't react to it, in hopes that they stop doing it. Last but not least is reinforcement. It is one of the most popular forms of operant conditioning. It usually means offering something pleasurable to someone after they've done something that you want. For example, you give your dog a treat after they listen to you. So that is operant conditioning and reinforcement. I will actually show you a video clip of reinforcement in action in one of the more popular TV shows of today.
Are you finished?
Well, thank you. How thoughtful. Would you like a chocolate?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Sheldon. I almost sat in your spot.
Did you? I didn't notice. Have a chocolate.
Thank you.
You're here a lot now.
Oh, am I talking too much? I'm sorry. Zip.
Thank you. Chocolate?
Yes, please. Oh, hey, Kim. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall.
Okay. I know what you're doing.
Really?
Yes. You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior.
Very good. Chocolate?
No, I don't. Sheldon, you can't train my girlfriend like a lab rat.
Actually, it turns out I can.
Well, you shouldn't.
There's just no pleasing you, is there, Leonard? You weren't happy with my previous approach to dealing with her, so I decided to employ operant conditioning techniques, building on the works of Thorndike and B.F. Skinner. Yet by this time next week, I believe I can have her jumping out of a pool, balancing a beach ball on her nose.
Thanks again, class, for watching my video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making this. And in the words of the great James Gandolfini, I am completely done with therapy as well as this class. So best of luck on your finals and happy holidays to everybody. Thank you.